With all maps in CSGO, there's always a will and a way to become better at said map. Some maps are deemed the meta and are played to the nth fucking degree, like Dust 2, Mirage, and Inferno. And why is that? Well, they are simplistic maps with simplistic goals. Get your ass to the bomb site and either defend it or blow it up. The layout of these maps are also rather simple, so the majority of people who play this game will gravitate towards those maps. However, some other maps are not as favored, even ones played at professional level, and Nuke would be such an example. While relevant to the meta, a lot of players are turned off from this map, mainly because the unique feature of this map is that the bomb sites are on top of each other and the historically annoying bugs that this map has had. However, aside from that, I still love this map. I don't know what it is about me liking the lesser played maps in CSGO. Maybe I have a more refined niche taste than the average pleb, or maybe I'm a fag who just likes hating on the popular thing. Who knows? Aside from that, I'm going to use this video a lot like my office one, where I will talk about the callouts of the map, general strategies, how to play both T and CT side, and some miscellaneous tips. However, I will not be showing you utility outside of the most basic bitch shit because I don't want you to use my utility info on me if we're ever in the match playing. Yeah, I'm pulling a Wings of Redemption. What are you gonna do about it? Look! Look! Listen! Look! Starting off with callouts, I need to preface them, because if you don't know the callouts on a map, you're going to suffer greatly. Nothing's more annoying than that one random fuck on your team not knowing what the callouts are on a map, and they lose an otherwise easy 1v1. Ugh, God, I hate randoms. I'll probably make a video on randoms too. I hate them with a burning passion. Aside from that, you need to know out these callouts. Keep in mind that these callouts will differ from region to region and may change, or hell, even be removed or altered as the map is updated. This is the 2020 version of Nuke. If the map is changed, you're gonna have to look at an updated callout map. Starting with CT spawn, we mosey our way into hell, just like all atheists when they die. Next to hell is lockers, where lockers are. Using the ladder, we then climb into heaven, where atheists won't be going when they die. If you push out into heaven, up top is called rafters or upper. Dropping down onto the A site, we then go into hut. Hut is the inside little cube, and mini is the outside. I fuck this up all the time when shit's going down in game, so try and remember. Mini is outside, hut is in. And don't forget old vent as well, the old vent where you can go down to the B-bomb site before they moved it. Going into hut, we enter lobby, a common place for T's to hold until the end of the fucking round. That little orange door in lobby is called Squeaky, another very common spot for T's. And the second story platform in lobby is called Sandbags. Being like sandbags where the callouts date how old a map is, and how old the spot is, we enter radio. Yes, this spot is called radio, not vending. Leaving radio, we enter trophies and into ramp room. Ramp room is the area to the right of ramp, the actual ramp is just called ramp. Gee, who would have thought? These boxes here are called boxes, and the far back box is called orange box, or headshot, depending on who you are and how long you've played this map. Entering onto the B bomb site, we see a few places we can go. Starting by going to the left, we enter control room. Going down the stairs to double doors, or simply doors, we enter the bomb site. Each angle of the map has its own special callout that really matters. The first corner with this red box is called dark, and the one opposite to that is called either toxic or useless, depending on how long you've played this map again. You know a map is rich with history when the callouts are different based on the generations of players. The next spot is these blue boxes, and for what I can really tell, these are just called blue boxes because I have yet to have been corrected by this or find another spot. And across blue boxes is decon. The catwalk is what finishes off on the B site, with the single reactor standing very tall. Entering decon, we enter the halls, back of vents, or hallway. This is a rather subjective callout, and players will interchange these calls, so please know them all. Also, players will usually say the location tied to which hallway. For example, if an enemy is in the hallway closer to double doors, they'll say hallway doors or hallway decon. Connecting decon is vents, or as my old good friend Shalix will call it, the shaft. Walking past vents, we enter secret, the outside stairs connecting outside to the B bomb site. We are finally outside, and then we enter into garage. Leaving garage back towards CT spawn, we come to CT blue. this big ass container by CT spawn, hence the name, CT Blue. Leaving it, we go to our next amazing callout's name known as T-Red. Wonderful names, I know. Going towards T-side now, we pass by Silo, or if you're really fruity, you will call this Marshmallow. Passing past Silo, we climb this ladder onto roof, and dropping off from roof, we go back to T-spawn. The callouts are complete, and now you know what each spot is called, unless, you're an impatient bastard and you saved yourself some time and you looked at a 2-year-old outdated map layout and are gonna bitch at me when I forgot an absolutely obsolete callout. Now, we start with the CT side of Nuke. Now, with most maps, there's usually a consensus that a map is usually blank-sided. Like when you're getting your ass kicked 13-2 in the first half and that one asshole says, "Don't worry guys, it's a blank-sided map," dooming you and your team to get your ass kicked for the other 3 rounds. Like for Office and other hostage maps, it's usually a T-sided map, and for Dust 2 it's slightly T-sided because of how well the Ts can rotate in the map, and how Inferno is a bit CT-sided because, at the end of the day, Inferno is nothing but hallways in Choke Point City. Some people might say Nuke is a CT-sided map, but I beg to differ. I would argue Nuke is a really balanced map. The Ts can get to either bomb site really fast, and at about the same time as CTs. The Ts also have different ways to attack. Right onto A, Squeaky, outside, silo, ramp, and it's usually hard for a game to be a complete wipe on each side. At worst, a team can get 10-5 on a half if they're competent, and wipes on the map are really rare. I think the reason why people usually think Nuke is a CT-sided map is because of how fast the bomb sites are easily accessible and how prone the CTs are to hold certain angles aggressively to kill Ts. I will admit CT is somewhat easier to play on Nuke than T-side. However, the playing field is evened out when a proper team plays T-side. However, that will be covered and discussed more on the T-side of this guide. For now, we cover the CT side. I love how I keep saying side a lot. Now, playing this map is similar to playing Train and Vertigo. You need a reliable team who will work together. While this statement is true with all maps, this applies double time to Nuke. With how fast rotates need to be, coordination needs to be on point, and good communication needs to be going 24/7, if the CTs aren't clearly working together, the Ts will just walk all over them and plant the bombs on their corpses. I think that's why Nuke is looked down upon a lot. Train and Vertigo are maps that need the whole team to be working together, and I think Vertigo and Train have that general consensus of knowing we need to work together to get any progress on the map made. However, Nuke doesn't have that. Nuke, because of how confusing things can become in the heat of battle, can cause people just to write the map off as a bad map that needs rebalancing, when that simply isn't the case. It's just that you're a selfish, greedy fuck who decided to be an asshole by playing a teamwork-based game selfishly, who deflects all foibles and follies as someone else's fault. Now that I got that cleared up, let's talk about the quote-unquote meta the CTs will usually have on the map. Because of how the map's laid out, whoever controls the A site will have the advantage. This is why you typically have 2 people play on A at all times. One usually plays Heaven or Rafters, and the other will play somewhere on the A site. This usually means that they'll play Mini to watch Squeaky, or they'll be on top of Hut to flip-flop between Hut and Squeaky. One player will usually play Ramp to help stop Ts from gaining control of the map, and someone usually holds Outside, usually from Garage. Now, the 5th person is usually the jack-of-all-trades player. They'll usually flip between locations based on if a spot's being overrun a lot, like Ramp, A-site, or Outside. That, or they'll do something off-kilter to surprise the Ts. A common tactic for the 5th man is to go onto the B site and push into secret and catch the Ts off guard if they push outside. The interesting thing about Nuke is that you don't need to have players outside. You think I sound crazy, and if you are a Nuke Global who has thousands of hours on that map, you may think I sound like a complete retard, but you really don't need a man outside all game. Because Garage is often smoked when Ts push, that player will mostly be deemed useless and at best either rotates to CT Blue or takes spam shots through smoke. However, because Outside isn't necessary to get to either bomb site, it can be held loosely or even not at all. However, knowledge is needed if the Ts are outside. This can be so CTs can prepare for Ts to push from Hell into Heaven or down secret. So, if you cannot win the aim duels, you don't need to hold outside. but you do need the info about what the T's are doing. Nuke for CTs, if I can describe it, it's like a glass cannon. You can have a great fucking hold on it if you know what you're doing, but once the T's get a foothold into a site, there is a lot of problems you're going to have to deal with. I know glass cannon sounds stupid, but that's the only other thing I can think of. Aside from maybe glass shield, but glass shield sounds so fucking retarded. Ugh. To help stop your shit from getting kicked in with your glass cannon shield crap, simple utility can be used to prevent T pushes. Molotovs are always good. A general thing CTs will do is burn Hut, Squeaky, and Ramp to help stop pushes. This forces the T's to funnel and have their push be delayed. However, do not smoke Hut or Squeaky. Or let me rephrase that. Hut can be smoked, but it must be deep inside. If you throw the Hut smoke and it's in front of the door, it can actually benefit the T's by helping them get a bomb plant down if one is brave enough. Or it can stop you from looking in the Hut altogether. Ramp, you can smoke and prepare for a push really well. As long as the smoke doesn't help the T's by it being past the final room into Ramp, you're golden. Flashes are a bread and butter staple for a CT hold. Usually a CT will flash outside at the beginning of the round to delay possible pushes and help give CTs more time to set up. Because some T's can get some great spawns for an outside attack, grenades are really only useful for T's who lump together in lobby, or for T's who lump outside or underneath silo or T-red. Don't expect to get too much utility damage on CT side on Nuke. Grenades are best used with post-plant retakes. They can soften up enemies, flush them out of corners, or kill weakened enemies. They can also be used in CT eco pistol pushes. As with utility, retakes are going to be a required thing on Nuke. Nuke is one of those maps where if the T's get a hold of a bomb site, the CTs are in trouble. Not only do you need to defuse the bomb, but because how hectic and confusing the round can be, you can fuck up and go to the wrong bomb site by accident. Because the bomb sites are on top of each other, retakes are a key with team coordination. And since the sites are great for defending, you need to be on your toes and watch out. I would personally say if the CTs are outmanned by 2 or more T's, it's best to save and either try to run or get some retreating enemies running from the bomb. I would also say A is harder to retake, mainly because the T's in general have a lot more cover, nooks, and crannies they can hide from while still covering the bomb on A. B is a lot more compressed in terms of cover, angles to watch, and overall defensive capabilities. A smoke on the B site from the T's will usually have less impact than a smoke grenade on A. A smoke in Mini is a lot more concerning for a CT than ones if they smoke with just Ramp, Decon, or B. Pushing on CT is a surprisingly good tactic to use on Nuke. You would be surprised. On most maps, you would think you would die all the time, and it would only work once or twice, but you'd be wrong. Because Nuke is a map that's usually expected to be the map where you would never push as a CT because, that's just fucking stupid. However, it works really well. Mainly eco pushes outside or through trophy into lobby work real wonders. You can also be passive aggressive in Hut or Squeaky at times, as well as get a cheeky kill. And this isn't an early half sort of tactic too. This can work practically for the whole half if you know what you're doing. Just don't push every round, otherwise they'll be waiting to mow your ass down in lobby. I think I've covered the basics when it comes to playing CT. Now, I'm going to give you some general tips you should keep in mind when playing because it never hurts to have these little nuggets of information. While this is common sense, a lot of people ignore this for some reason. Always play the bomb. If some dumbass T rushes onto A with the bomb and dies immediately, fucking guard it. Guard it. This puts the T's in a very bad situation where they need to frag hunt or waste tons of utility and time just to recover the stupid thing. If you push lobby and kill the one dude in there with the bomb, and the T's did that strat where they throw the bomb into the corner, have your team cover and defend it. Come over and defend the guy with the bomb. You have no idea how powerful this is. A lot of spots on Nuke are wallbangable. Common spots are Mini to outside and Hut. An AWP can penetrate T-Red and the shutter in Mini, causing massive damage. Same with Hut. An AK can even penetrate the metallic walls or even the concrete wall leading into lobby from Hut. A lot of spots on this map have very interesting wallbang capabilities. Make sure you experiment because I'm sure as shit not really sharing the really good ones I've found, and to this day I'm sure I haven't even found even some of the best ones, so make sure you go out there and look yourself. If you have 2 people on ramp, you can boost one person to the top of boxes. You need to crouch jump in order to get up there, but once you do, you have an amazing power position here. Most people don't expect a boost here, however, this is really a one-trick pony. Use it sparingly. One of the best things about the B site is that a T needs to make noise no matter what they do in order to get onto the bomb site unless they come from ramp. They either need to shatter a window or open a door to get onto the site. Audible cues can be overlooked, so be wary of them. The B site is also good because it mostly cannot be reached without either attacking A or another place that will have a CT on it. If the T's push from ramp, that will give you plenty of information and you should react accordingly. The bomb radius on this map is a lot smaller than ones on other maps. This map was tweaked when Vertigo was re-added and it used to have those half across the map lethal explosions. So if you need to get the hell out of dodge and you don't have the HP, don't worry as much. And finally, I leave you with this tidbit of information for CT side. Ramp, and to a lesser extent outside, are 2 spots that the T's will either always attack or almost never attack. It's never an intermediate way of attacking it for the T's. If the T's screwed up a ramp push and you shut their crap down really fast, odds are they won't try a ramp attack for at least the next few rounds. So your 5th man can go play A or even outside more freely and not have to worry about ramp being compromised. And with that, I think CT was covered really well. If you think otherwise, bitch at me as you please. Now, we move on to the other side of the game, the terrorists, aka the real freedom fighters. Now, you may be initially disgruntled while playing on T-side, mainly because the stigma that Nuke is really CT-sided, when it's really not. I have explained this earlier, but I want to reinforce the fact that Nuke is a really balanced map. Do not be discouraged by people who say otherwise. Sure, CTs will have a slight home at court advantage, but do you know what the Ts have? The brute force push factor. And the bullshit factor takes towards Ts a hell of a lot more. Well, what do I mean by the bullshit factor? Well, the bullshit factor is, and in fact, what the terrorists can do and what they can't do. And they can do a lot of quote-unquote stupid stuff a lot more freely than the CTs. While the CTs can do something like an unexpected push in the lobby, the Ts can do even much better crap like that to really upset your enemy. The Ts can literally play Hornet's Nest tactics where if they hold a position like lobby and once they kill an antsy CT who tried to push, they kill them and then they go on the offensive. They can bum rush A with maybe 2 or 3 max players and they can kill them before the CTs can even get into position, and they can weasel around the map a lot more. They can jump on the silo, they can slither down the shaft with the bomb and get a plant on the B site in less than 20 seconds, and they can hold a great rotate game. If the CTs are crippled or pinned, the Ts have the ability to just absolutely bully the CTs if they really want to. However, this amazing ability to do quote-unquote stupid non-meta tactics comes at a cost. The Ts need to know how to use utility a lot more than the CTs. The Ts need to know at least the basics. Smoking Garage, the cross smokes into Secret, smoking Mini effectively, smoking Ramp, Heaven, etc. Smokes and Molotovs are essential to know on T-side Nuke. Without them, you're gonna be in some deep shit. The main thing with T-side is that you also need to be really reactionary. If the CTs give you a window of opportunity, take it! If they push and you counter it, they're going to be weak on the side they pushed. If they push radio from ramp, attack ramp, or if they push hut and you go get them, go A. The CTs have more to lose by making mistakes, and you need to punish them as much as possible to get rounds in. With T-side, you really have 3 quote-unquote normal ways to play Nuke. Attacking ramp, attacking outside, and rushing onto A. All of these have pros and cons of attacking. A ramp attack is good because it gives you a large portion of map access, and it gives you options. You can swamp B really hard if you win the fight, or you could go A in hopes that the CTs over-rotate thinking you went on to B, or you can play passive and kill flankers. However, ramp is the most choke pointy of the 3 main options of attacking because there's really only one way to get onto ramp from T-side. If you're good at aim duels, attacking ramp is great, but if you keep getting mowed down, try a different approach. Running onto A has that shock to the system type of effect. For the whole team just to rush onto the A site is extremely powerful. You'd be surprised at how many CTs you can catch with their pants down, mainly the second CT who always plays on the site. Keep in mind Heaven is meant to be prepared for an A rush, so always be aware of that and know how to deal with him. If you can lock A down, you have a powerful hold, and the CTs will be crimped from a retake. Finally, attacking outside is the third most common way for Ts to play Nuke. Outside is good if you're great at aim duels. It also allows you to attack from different spots, either from roof, silo, or ground floor. Outside also allows Ts to fall back if shit hits the fan really badly. However, the drawback with outside is that if you don't have a man watching your flank, the CTs will more often than not try to flank you. Be very careful with going outside. Outside also needs a lot of utility usage most of the time. You need to know how to throw smokes from garage and the cross, and these are extremely helpful to know. Borderline required, really. I did mention that Ts have a better bullshit factor, and now I'm going to share some of those less conventional ways to enter a site. A tactic that's either so stupid that it becomes smart is going straight down the vent right off the bat. If you have a spawn for it, you can run right onto vent, and unless the Heaven player is watching with the mini player, it will be really hard to stop one or two Ts from entering down vent for the attack. And if the first man down has the bomb, you can get a near instant plant and cause panic to rummage between the CTs, which is always a good thing. You can also do the Hornet's Nest tactic that I just pulled out of my ass a second ago, where you all hold lobby and wait for CTs to fuck up. It is absolutely amazing to deal crushing blows to the defense. Also, if you know proper smokes and utility usage, you can either bait false pushes or make them all rotate to the other site, and that just makes everything so much better for you and your team. As I've said, you really need to know utility on T-side Nuke if you want to get some progress made. I'll show you the basics here. The smokes you really want to know is how to smoke Garage, the cross into Secret, Mini from A, Heaven, and maybe Ramp if you're bad at the aim duels. To smoke Garage, there's many ways to smoke it, but the most basic way is to stand by this blue box outside underneath silo, look at this HVAC unit, and do a simple throw. You may want to adjust the height as well. Some people measure with their crosshair, and I do the same, so yours may come out a bit differently with the gap, or it falls too short or even too high. To smoke the cross outside, you need to stand at this corner by T-spawn, look at the left corner of this middle concrete slab, and go to the edge of the concrete and throw. This will smoke the first half of the cross. To smoke the second half, line yourself up at this blue box where you threw the garage smoke, and look to the top of the corner of this building of the background, and do a simple throw as well. This will smoke the other half of the cross, and with both smokes down, this will create a beautiful cross into Secret. Smoking Mini is always viable when taking A. There's a lot of ways to smoke it, but you need to smoke it. A lot of CTs will play for picks post-plant from here. Always keep Mini full of tension. Same with Heaven. There are a lot of ways to smoke it, some fancier than others, but you need to also keep tension on Heaven as much as possible. The more and more hesitation the CTs feel, the better odds you have of winning. And finally, a simple way to smoke Ramp is going into trophies, stand in this corner with the chair, look at this square behind the glass, and do a simple run throw. This will smoke Ramp and force the CTs playing there to either fall back or hold a spot where they're out in the open. Flashes are also the bread and butter of a T side. They help with pushes of all kinds and they cause distractions. No shit, that's what a flashbang does. Use them as you would with any other pushes to help distract and cripple the CTs. Nothing can really be said more than outside of that. Molotovs are also as important as smokes. They help delay post-plant attacks, they can also flush out enemies from corners, burning off Heaven, Mini, Hut, Ramp, Decon, etc. Use them as you normally would to help aid your victories. Frag Grenades are also sort of the same, but with instant results of damage. Also, you can use them to help with your pushes. A common use of grenades on the T side is to blow if the door is squeaky and push right onto A or down vent. It stops an audio cue on the door and it masks all of your stampeding footsteps for a couple of seconds. Think of them like breach charges from danger zones at times, and you shall be rewarded. Finally, to wrap T side off, here's a few pieces of advice for you to follow. A general rule for all maps, but still needs to be touched on. Plant the fucking bomb as soon as you can, and plant it in the most viable position possible. If you can do it, plant the bomb out in the open or an advantageous spot. Default plants are almost never good post-plant. The default plant on A is behind the fuel rod storage where Heaven can peek it, and the default plant on B is behind the reactor. These spots are good to get the bomb down safely, but are not really good to watch post-plant. If you have the time and safety to plant in a really good spot, do it. Molotovs are also great post-plant, especially on Nuke. Some angles are kinda hard to watch post-plant, and a Molotov can stop a diffuser and give you some breathing room in case you need time to recover. I've said this already, but I feel it needs to be brought up again. If possible, plant on A over B. Since A has more cover and spots for the T's to hide post-plant, it's the superior place to plant the bomb on Nuke. You really should treat B as a fallback or a surprise site. A is almost always better to plant at. Use confusion to your advantage. A prime example of this is if you have taken A, your team has taken A, but your bomb carrier is down vent or secret to B, and if they plant B, the CTs will more than likely think that the site is A because they lost their men on there, giving you a better chance to win, and because audio cues can be a little weird on this map, people will be even more confused and think it's A. However, just make sure you have one other guy on the bomb site with the bomb planter in case some CT magically teleports onto the site and kills him and defuses it, ending the round in a very embarrassing way. Avoid using doors or breaking glass if possible. If you're in a 1v1, a strategy CTs will use is shutting doors in order to shut off entrances to you, because you need to open the door to pass it, which will expose your position. You need to be very careful with this. Most people don't do this consciously, but still, be wary of it. You can also use this to your advantage, especially on B, because if they have to open the door, they'll let you know where they're at. And with that, the guide for Nuke is done. Now, you know the basic ins and outs of this map and how to function on it. Now, go out there and use this information against me when we play. So when I get mad, you can remind my stupid ass I gave you the skills and know-how on how to kick my ass with my own tactics. After all, isn't part of warfare getting inside your enemy's head? Hell, maybe I'm secretly feeding you nothing but bad information in order to screw you up. And I'm playing some Donald Trump 7D backgammon underwater chess to fuck with you. Bet you never thought of that, huh? Yeah, that's right. Keep being skeptical and wary.